Hey guys, what is up? So I watched Vanderpump Rules season 11, episode 2. Let's get right into it because I took some notes. The episode starts off, of course, at Tom and Ariana's home, and it's very dysfunctional or awkward. Awkward's the right term for it because Tom and Ariana are not speaking to each other, so they communicate through their assistants. And Tom's assistant, Anne, is in the kitchen. He just got back from New Zealand. She's asking him how it was. It's revealed to us that Tom's birthday is happening in a few days, and he'd like to have a gathering at the house. Now, what's awkward about this is that Tom has to communicate this to his assistant, who then communicates this to Ariana. Tom is basically asking for permission. So what Anne tells Ariana is that he wants to have a gathering for his birthday, and he's more than happy to put you in a luxurious, nice hotel. And Ariana flat out says no, this is her house, there will be no party, and if there is, she's gonna call the police. Of course, this is very silly to me because it is Tom's house too, it is his birthday. You know, my initial opinion about this was that they should just work out a compromise. It doesn't make any sense to me why he can't have a party in his own home. Hey guys, so a thought occurred to me real quick. Is it possible that Ariana is purposely acting like the bad guy because Tom Sandoval received so much hate? Is that possible that she wants to kind of even out the plane, even it out? I thought it was a weird idea to think about, but then I was like, this is reality TV. And so I think I just don't find Ariana that unreasonable. Obviously, she was okay with Tom having the party, but I just don't find for her to be like, oh, I'm going to call the cops as a first reaction. To me, sounds a little bit too played up. And I think it's possible that I don't know, was she really giving him a favor by trying to make sure that we dislike her as much? I don't think we'll ever dislike her as much as we dislike him, but something to think about. Now back to the video. Back to the conversation that Tom had with his assistant in the kitchen. So one of the topics that was brought up in that kitchen was Tom Schwartz. Schwartz recently went on Jack's podcast and talked crap about Sandoval, and Sandoval wasn't too happy about it. Schwartz was frustrated because their business, their restaurant, is receiving so much backlash due to the whole Sandoval drama. And Sandoval is out here going on stage, going on tour, really just rocking it out like nothing happened. And so Schwartz felt like, how can you put $500,000 or even more into this restaurant and not care about it? I mean, I know we pushed you out right now because of the whole backlash that we're receiving, but you didn't mention a publicist. You didn't share any type of concern with us. So Schwartz was upset and went on Jack's podcast. And there was one more thing I wanted to add about Tom and Ariana's living situation. This is definitely giving Kim Zolciak and Croy vibes. Remember when they actually had to go to court and the judge ordered Kim to stay in one part of the house and Croy to stay in the other? And it's giving those vibes, giving that energy, like they need to figure it out because it's ridiculous. Currently right now, I believe Ariana is taking Tom to court over the house, but one of them should just go. Ariana believes it's a power play. Oh, why should I have to be the one to leave? He's the one who broke up this home, not me. But the reality is, if you're dating someone that you met 10 days after the whole Sandoval situation, then you weren't happy to begin with, so you would have broken up anyways. You know what? I get it, but you guys were not happy. I believe there are ways to look at this situation because as we see in the episode when she has this conversation with Lala, Lala's like, why not just move, get your own place? And Ariana shares those same feelings of, this is a power thing. Sorry, that's the ambulance. Okay, the noise is gone. So anyways, later on in this episode, we do see the conversation with Lala and Ariana. They get together. Ariana shares with Lala that it's not even about the house, it's just this power dynamic. And if it's just a power play, a power dynamic, you're not gonna let him take this from you, I really suggest Ariana to change the way she thinks. Like, you don't, if you don't really care about that home, then what you do is you have a new start. Don't look at it as, oh, Tom got to keep the house. Look at it as you got to build something completely new with someone. And what's very interesting about this conversation she has with Lala is that she reveals that, you know, she would be open to having children with Dan, her new boyfriend. And she says that she didn't realize that the reason that she was really holding off on having children with Tom is because she was with Tom. Just bear with me. If you could imagine being Tom for 2 seconds, I would be so pissed off hearing that. Like, the whole entire time, you know, she was like, no, I don't want kids. I don't want kids. Now she's in this new relationship and she sees a future possibly with kids. So I thought that was very interesting. Very, very interesting. Which just goes to show, like, they weren't meant to be together, so just one of you guys leave the home. In this episode as well, Lisa's restaurant pump closes. No one seems to really care. Sadly, even though it's called Vanderpump Rules, no one cares, really. But anyways, so at the closing party, the most interesting thing there that happens is that the cast arrives, except Sandoval. Schwartz has a talk with Lisa, and Schwartz is just expressing his anger towards Tom Sandoval for the backlash that he's received at the restaurant. And Lisa's like, look, at least in her confessionals, Lisa shares with us that I'm sure when Sandoval was cheating with Rachel Leviss, he wasn't thinking this would happen, so it's not fully fair to blame him for the shortcomings of the restaurant. I thought that was interesting hearing that from Lisa. Like, Lisa definitely had Sandoval's back with that. What gets me with Tom Sandoval is that I could overlook everything, but I'm not a huge fan of the fact that he filmed Rachel Leviss in a FaceTime without her knowledge, and Rachel Leviss in that FaceTime was an intimate FaceTime, okay? And so I can never get past that, because then Tom, he threatened the network and said this, that, and the other, whatever. So that's why when there's moments like, oh, poor Tom Sandoval, especially moments in this episode where Ariana's like, I can see myself having kids with Dan, that is hurtful. I always resort back to that moment where he filmed Rachel without her consent, without her permission, and I just can't get past that. So far we have the awkward Tom and Ariana living together situation, and then we have the Ariana and Lala, they get together and talk, and Lala's more like, Ariana, just move out. Then we get to Lisa Vanderpump and her closing of the restaurant, where Schwartz has a conversation with Lisa Vanderpump. And now we are at Scheana and Brock's situation. So the interesting part about Scheana and Brock in this episode was you were able to see Scheana's mother have opinions about Brock. So the whole storyline for Scheana in this episode is that, you know, she wants to be able to go out with all the girls and have someone who she knows watch her kids. She has anxiety, OCD. She just has a lot of things going on mentally. And so it's really hard for her to leave her daughter. And Brock's like, this is something I've been wanting forever, to get someone in here. And Scheana goes, no, I don't want just anyone. I'm very particular on who I want watching my child, for good reason. I mean, she's on TV. People know her. Like, she's a public figure. So yeah. And even if you're not, if you have a child, you definitely want to be comfortable on who you leave your children with, you know? So I get it. But there just seems to be, there was a scene where Sheena's crying on the couch. You have the babysitter that's listening to her. You have the mom sitting next to her that's really like, yeah, I get it. You have OCD. You're going through a lot. You have anxiety. Like, you know, you're going through mental health issues, and we understand. We're here for you. We get you don't want to leave your child with anyone. We get it, right? And then Brock goes, you know, I do support you. I support you. And Sheena's mom goes, no, you don't. And I'm like, what? So I'm very interested to see more of that family ship. You know, I'm very interested in seeing what else does Sheena's mom say about Brock. And I promise you, I do wish the best. It was just how quick Sheena's mom was quick to be like, no, you don't. You know, mumbling under her breath like, So there is zero doubt in my mind that this is not the first, fifth, or 10th time Sheena's mother, Scheana, and Brock were in a room fighting. You could just see it through the screen. You were like, oh, they've had some fights. So now we get to James and Allie. So Allie, her new business is in astrology. So she meets with people to talk about their signs. And all I'm going to say is that Allie is a very smart person. So James and Allie, they are, the biggest storyline here is that James, he's still frustrated with Sandoval, right? Sandoval is inviting him to this party, which he's still throwing anyways, because after the talk with Ariana and Lala is like, Ariana, why don't you just, it's not fair. Sandoval lives there too. He should be able to have a birthday party. So after that talk, Ariana goes, well, he did say it was only going to be like 12 people, a few people, so it's okay. And he did say he was going to be done by midnight, so there is a compromise, so it's okay. So anyways, Tom is inviting people to this party, including James and Allie. Now, when he invites James and Allie, Tom Schwartz is also there, and he also did receive an invite, and we'll get to that in a second. So he invites James and Allie. James is frustrated that Sandoval never gave an apology for messing around with Rachel, bro code, all of that. I just don't care about James' frustrations, because even according to Rachel Leviss on her podcast, it was like, 10 days and change after that, where after they broke up, and mind you, they were engaged. So after their engagement was off, he then met Allie, and they've been together since. So I guess it's still bro code, but at the same time, like, how sad were you, bruh? Because, I mean, you seem to be doing just fine. I personally feel like James does not care about any of this. He could care less. He's not hurt whatsoever. I truly believe this is just for the show. This is fake outrage, not real. And another storyline in this episode for James and Allie is that they are considering getting a pet. So we all know what happens in the future. But in this episode, they are considering getting a pet, and they haven't really thought about it yet, but they're definitely on the track of what looks like in the near future buying a pet. So now we get to the Tom and Tom situation. So Schwartz and Sandoval, they meet up. You know, Sandoval's like, I'm not drinking because, you know, Rachel, when she went into treatment, she's not drinking, and I want to be supportive, right? You know, I don't feel comfortable drinking while she's on this journey, yada, 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 right? That's one thing I also don't believe. I mean, in this episode, you'll see at his birthday party where he's not drinking. I believe that he still drinks. He was drinking during that moment. I find Sandoval very fake, even through the screen. I do not believe he wasn't drinking, but that's just my opinion. I have nothing to back it up. It's just my gut feeling. But anyways, so Tom and Tom, they meet up. Schwartz shares his frustrations that he has with Sandoval. Like, you know, here you were, you know, going on stage, going on tour, doing your thing. And even though we kicked you out, you didn't want to help. You didn't seem interested in the business that we put money into, yada, 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 yada. And Sandoval's like, I didn't like the fact that you went on Jack's podcast and you talk crap about me. If you have something to say it to my face, you know. So the two, they talk it out, and Schwartz ends up showing up at Sandoval's birthday party. Hey guys, one more thing. So after Tom Schwartz and Tom Sandoval, they get together, they hash it out. Tom Sandoval does reveal that he's actually been paying a lot of the bills, and Ariana hasn't been paying anything. He's been trying to get his money back from Ariana. Now, if this happens to be true, Ariana should be paying back Sandoval. But here's the thing too, if I was Tom Sandoval, I would definitely love to have a basket of right eggs, you know, and definitely deliver them. So I do feel like there's some truth to what Tom Sandoval is saying here. Okay, back to the video. So on the night of Sandoval's birthday party, Sheena, she's like hosting or DJing a emo night, it seems like. The girls, they go out. Sheena, she's still carrying on with her music career. And so the girls, they go out to emo night. They have a fun time. And the episode ends with James walking to the door. He sits down with Sandoval. Well, first he makes fun of how there's nobody's at the party. Like, there's literally no one. People who want camera time, basically. And then he sits down at the couch and he's like, you owe me an apology, to get to the point. And Sandoval goes, wait a minute. Do you remember 10 years ago when I was with Kristen and you basically did the same thing? And he's like, no, you're not about to bring up something that was 10 years ago. I'm leaving. You don't think you owe me an apology? You have so much growing up to do, which is absolutely comical coming from James, because James also has so much growing up to do. As soon as this was over, he walked out and peed on their bush. And then Allie goes, that's not just Sandoval's bush, that's Ariana's bush too. So once again, James proves that he's just as immature as Sandoval is. I mean, he has a lot of growing up to do. I mean, James needs to listen to what he preaches or what he pretends to preach, you know? So that was pretty much the episode. Tom and Ariana, they still live under the same roof. You know, even when Dan comes to visit Ariana, Ariana speaks how expensive it is because they have to find somewhere else to hang out, you know? For Lala, we didn't really get much of Lala or Katie. Just, you know, Tom and Tom arguing it out. Tom having his conversation with Lisa Vanderpump about the frustrations at the restaurant. Sheena and her mother and Brock. But really, it was just Sheena pushing for her music career and also fighting through the challenges as a mother, trusting someone else with your child while you're not there. And James and Allie, nothing really going on with those two. And that was that. That was the episode. So my thoughts about this is it's just going to get even more interesting. I do think that eventually we're going to get tired of hearing, oh, Tom cheated. We're going to get really annoyed with it. And I am curious about Allie and James' relationship. I never really bought Rachel Leviss and James' relationship. So I just want to know, like, what does Allie see in James? I'm just curious, like, what does he bring to the table other than like being on a reality TV show? I'm just asking. But anyways, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon on the next video. Bye, guys.